Welcome to the channel, you petrol heads and armchair enthusiasts. Today, we're strapping ourselves in for a roller coaster ride through the annals of automotive history. We're talking about the cars that didn't just get us from A to B, but made us want to rip up the map and go find Z. Buckle up as we explore 6 of the best cars ever made, from the days of spanners and grease monkeys to the age of electric dreams and self-driving whatnots. We'll be covering everything from the game changers that put the world on wheels to the speed demons that made us redefine what a car could be. So, grab your driving gloves, or maybe just a cuppa. Sit back and get ready for a high-octane trip down memory lane. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Ah, the Ford Model T. You might be thinking, really? That rickety old thing? But hold your horses, because this bad boy was about as revolutionary as a self-filling teapot in a Victorian drawing room. Before old Henry Ford came along with his assembly line and his any color you like as long as it's black motto, cars were just expensive toys for the rich and famous. But the Model T? This was the car for the common man. It was simple, it was reliable, and most importantly, it was affordable. Farmers could finally ditch the horse and cart, shopkeepers could expand their delivery routes, and families could actually, go places. The Model T didn't just change the way we got around, it changed the way we lived. It sparked a revolution, not just in the automotive industry, but in society itself. Suddenly, the world was a much smaller, more accessible place. And all thanks to a car that, let's be honest, looked like it was designed by a committee of blacksmiths. But don't let its humble looks fool you. This car was as tough as a badger in a dustbin. It could handle anything you threw at it, from muddy fields to cobblestone streets. Over 15 million Model Ts were produced, and they stayed in production for nearly 2 decades. The Model T might not have been the fastest or the flashiest car on the road, but it was the car that mattered. It was the car that put the world on wheels and paved the way for every car that came after it. Now let's fast forward a few decades and talk about a car that's a bit more spirited. The Ferrari F40. This, my friends, is not just a car. It's a statement. It's a snarling, fire-breathing monster of an engine wrapped in a body that looks like it was designed by the god of speed himself. Created to celebrate Ferrari's 40th anniversary, the F40 was Enzo Ferrari's last hurrah, his final masterpiece, before he shuffled off this mortal coil. And boy did he go out with a bang. The F40 was a beast. A twin-turbocharged V8 engine that churned out nearly 500 horsepower, a top speed of over 200 miles per hour, an acceleration that would make your eyeballs sweat. This wasn't just a car, it was a weaponized roller skate. But it wasn't just about brute force. The F40 was a masterpiece of engineering. Lightweight materials, a stripped-down interior, and aerodynamics that would make a fighter jet jealous, all came together to create a car that was as beautiful as it was brutal. Driving the F40 wasn't for the faint of heart. This was a car that demanded your respect. One wrong move and it would spit you into the nearest hedge faster than you could say, "Mamma mia." But in the right hands, it was pure magic. The F40 was a car that captured the imagination of a generation. Even today, it's still considered one of the greatest supercars ever made. From the flamboyant Italian stallion, we move on to something a little more, shall we say, humble. The Volkswagen Beetle. Now, before you click away thinking, oh great, another boring history lesson, hear me out. The Beetle might not have been the fastest, the prettiest, or the most luxurious car on the road, but it was, without a doubt, one of the most important. This was the car that put Germany on wheels after the war. The car that symbolized affordability and reliability for a generation. Designed in the 1930s by none other than Ferdinand Porsche himself, yes, that Porsche, the Beetle was originally intended to be a people's car, a cheap and practical vehicle for the masses. And boy, did it succeed. With its distinctive rounded shape, air-cooled engine, and simple mechanics, the Beetle became a global phenomenon. It was the car your grandma learned to drive in, the car your parents went on their first date in, the car that probably took your neighbor's dog to the vet that one time. But the Beetle was more than just a car. It was a symbol of hope, of resilience, of a world rebuilding after a devastating war. It represented a fresh start, a chance for everyone to experience the freedom and mobility that a car could provide. Right, enough with the antiques, let's talk about something a bit more electrifying, the Tesla Model S. This isn't just a car, it's a Silicon Valley middle finger to the establishment, a rolling testament to the fact that sometimes the best way to predict the future is to invent it. When the Model S first hit the scene, the traditional car industry laughed. Electric cars? Pah! They're just milk floats for tree huggers, they scoffed. Well, who's laughing now? The Model S didn't just change the game, it ripped up the rule book, set it on fire, and then ran over the ashes. This wasn't some glorified golf cart, this was a proper car. Sleek, stylish, and with enough performance to make a Porsche blush. 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds? Check. Autopilot that can practically drive itself? Check. A giant touchscreen that controls everything from the air conditioning to the suspension? Check and check. The Model S wasn't just about being electric, it was about being better. It forced the old guard to wake up and smell the lithium ion. Suddenly, everyone and their dog was scrambling to make an electric car. It showed the world that the future was electric, and that the future was now. Now let's talk about a car that's a little more traditional, the Rolls-Royce Phantom. This, my friends, is not just a car, it's a land yacht, a rolling palace of leather, wood, and enough sheepskin rugs to make a shepherd weep. If the Model S is a Silicon Valley tech bro, the Phantom is an English gentleman in a Savile Row suit. It's the automotive equivalent of a perfectly poured cup of tea. From the moment those massive rear doors swing open like the gates of Buckingham Palace, you know you're in for something special. The interior is a symphony of handcrafted wood veneers, plush leather upholstery, and enough gadgets to make James Bond jealous. Want to feel like royalty? The Phantom's got you covered. The iconic Spirit of Ecstasy hood ornament glides effortlessly ahead, while you recline in the back seat, sipping champagne from crystal flutes. And let's not forget about that V12 engine. It purrs like a contented lion, effortlessly wafting you along in a bubble of silence and luxury. The Phantom is a car that's been setting the standard for luxury and opulence for over a century. It's a reminder that sometimes it's good to be reminded of the finer things in life. And finally, we come to the car that's about as subtle as a brick through a window, the Tesla Cybertruck. This, my friends, is not just a truck, it's a statement. It's a giant stainless steel middle finger to anyone who thought pickup trucks had to look like they were designed in a 1980s wind tunnel. When Elon Musk unveiled the Cybertruck, the internet collectively lost its mind. It looked like something out of Blade Runner, with its angular design, bulletproof windows, well, almost, and a claimed 0 to 60 time that would shame a sports car. The Cybertruck is the love child of a stealth bomber in a toolbox, and I, for one, am here for it. It's unapologetically futuristic, ridiculously capable, and just plain cool. Love it or hate it, you can't deny that the Cybertruck is a game changer. Well, there you have it, 6 of the best cars ever made, from the humble Model T to the outrageous Cybertruck. It's been a wild ride through the history of the automobile, and hopefully you've enjoyed the journey as much as I have. Don't forget to hit that like button harder than a piston at Redline and subscribe for more automotive adventures. And while you're at it, let us know in the comments which of these automotive icons gets your motor running. Until next time, keep your engines revving.